All right, guys, welcome to the show. The stars, Ashton, and special guest Cesar Bejarano.
What's up, Raj?
Hey, what's up, man? And Junior off to the side. What's going on, Ashton? You good or what? You good? Eating some Nutter Butters and drinking some water? Cool? All right, man. Hey, Cesar, what's up, man?
How you been?
Good, man, good.
A lot of stuff going on today, man.
A lot, dude, a
In
lot.
the past few weeks.
Oh, man. Hey, so we wanted to do the video tonight. Mr. Fedor is at a school board meeting, and we wanted to talk about the last meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because of what's going on, right? There's this whole thing in the air about union contracts and district, all the money stuff. So we wanted to break down what's kind of going on for everybody to know what's going on.
Right.
Because I've been doing a lot of posting on my own social media, and I think a lot of people don't really know what's up. So here it is, man. Last school board meeting, the biggest part was that SUTA, that's the Selma Unified Teachers Association, they came to present at this meeting. They were on the agenda. And they wanted to have the board look at their financial findings. Right? I mean, that's a first, man, because the district has financial findings and they got to go through Fresno County, make sure everything's legit.
Did SUTA go through Fresno County?
Nah, I doubt it, dude. I don't even know where they got their numbers. I mean, they're probably, you can probably look them up somewhere, but that's their numbers, man. But what was interesting, because as they were going through it, they mentioned, I wrote down some notes, they were mentioning, I picked up on a lot of words that they were saying, right? They were saying stuff like, we believe, not actual, overestimating, over budgeting. They used all these words, basically saying that the district's numbers are wrong. That's the way I understood it, and what they were saying, using all those words. But the board's going to go off of the district's numbers, right? They're not going to go off of SUTA's numbers.
Right, because they were approved to Fresno County.
Yeah, exactly. They have to be as accurate as possible.
Okay.
And the budget's fluid, so it does go up and down. So that was one of the big things. So the union, I believe it was Mrs. Klein mentioned that that she does understand that they actually agree that there is declining enrollment. Now that's a big deal because that means you're losing money. And the district in November, even before November, they had made the last best final offer, and it was a 7-1, and Measure L was on the ballot. Yeah, another tax. So it was on the ballot. So what was understood, and I was on the board, so I was like, hey, look, I'll support the 7-1 as long as it doesn't go past that because of Measure L. You can't ask the people to tax themselves.
And then go give it away.
Yeah, and then use more money to give out. You know what I mean? So 7-1, firm, and it was pretty much understood. We were going to go to fact finding. They gave a presentation. Hey, man, we can't settle 7-1. We don't know what to tell you. We're gonna have to try to work through it through third party.
Go to arbitration.
Arbitration, fact finding, and so that's what was understood. Now, here we are. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, they had a meeting, and now the union is saying, hey, we're okay with the 7-1, but we also want 6% on salary.
Another
schedule.
raise?
Yep.
On top of the 7-1?
Yep. So they're talking 14%. Now I know they're going to say, hey, well, some of it you get later on.
That doesn't matter. Front load,
matter.
back load, middle load, it's still a raise.
Exactly. Not only that, what it does, Cesar, Mr. Bejarano, it moves the goalposts for everybody now.
What about the class?
They should be getting, if they give away 6% more, Classify should get 6% more. Right?
They're employees just like everybody else.
Well, that's what they've always done, right? So the district, like last year, we did a 2.2. They gave it an admin, they gave it a classified, they gave it a SUTA. Hey.
Well, what about next year?
Oh,
Classified
man.
wants 20%.
Who knows, man? Hopefully. So this is, so it hasn't happened, but that's what the argument was. But, hey, man, we'll see what happens. I hope not. But there were some really good points that were brought up. One of the things is if you did take that 6%, now what they showed on the screen, during the meeting, was that the reserves are projected to go from 7.31 down to 5.44 over 3 years. So that's really bad. That's horrific.
Oh, no, it is.
Yeah, and that's if they added the 6%, right? Well, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But there's some good stuff. Mr. Medina, said that the offer was very fair, and that the district's numbers have to be accurate. And so he talked about them having to be accurate, and you have to go through Fresno County. The other thing that Mr. Medina said, man, is he said, if we give in to the 6%, we put the district at risk in the long term. It doesn't make sense to do that, and he's 100% right.
Yeah, you put our kids at risk.
Yeah, so thank God Mark said that, because it's 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's 100% true. So the 6%, you know, with declining enrollment and the reserves being down, it's a no-brainer not to do it.
Well, we just had that situation in our district, what, 4 or 5 years ago? When
Oh, yeah.
I think it was in 2018.
Yeah.
When they did the layoffs.
Yeah, there were some layoffs. So there's a quick story. So in 2018, when I first came back to the board, one of the first things that happened when I got back on, when I won that election, is they actually asked me to come to the district office. And the head administrator had told me, hey, this is what's going on. Fresno County has sent a letter. I think it was a letter. And they were saying that we're 16 teachers. We have 16 too many. And that our reserves are bare bottom. I mean, we have to build it, and that was pretty bad, dude. And here we are, almost putting ourselves back in that same situation if they were to do this. So this is why we're talking about it, because we're hoping they don't do it. You know, it would be outrageous to do it, but you never know what could happen, man. People could fold, get scared, or whatever.
Couldn't you get scared of it? You're doing the right thing for the kids.
Exactly.
At 7-1.
I never had a problem with it.
7-1 is fine.
It's perfect.
Hey,
And now-
is that a year contract?
Yes.
Or a 2-year?
No, man, every year they do this. They're going to go through it again next year. They'll probably start sometime in April, May, renegotiating for next year. After if they close this one out.
So 8% was on the table
Yeah,
for a
7
1-year contract.
1 year. And the union has now shifted to where they want an extra 6,
Wow, 14%.
14%. Now, the numbers that we saw last year for the ones that had settled were all around 7%. I think it could have been Clovis and one of the Kingsburg ones. So, and there were some other ones. And we were like, okay, we're going to do 7. And we did one better. We gave them 1 retro to be better than that. And I actually thought it was too high at the time. But I was
going from 2.2.
Yeah. I was leaving though. So, and I knew it was gonna be a big deal. So whatever. So, but the stance was made. Now I'm hoping, because we made the stance the year before for the kids, and we kind of had everything set up to where, hey man, make the stance again, right, Ash? And you make the stance for these guys, you know, for Junior over here, for Ashton right here. It's about these guys.
Yep.
So I don't give a shit who gets mad at me, man. You won't win the debate.
No, kids are priority. I don't care whose kids it is. Selma kids
Oh
are
yeah.
priority.
Oh yeah. And now all the board members too. I mean, I've talked to most of them. You know, not recently, some of them, but they all know where we stand, right?
And I believe a lot of parents that like in our
Oh, yeah.
same shoes. You know.
Oh yeah, dude. So once the parents actually know what's going on, though,
Right.
You know, you can get like, well, let's say, you know, that 6%. If you don't give it to them, I mean, they could do it, but you can give 6%. You can use that for buying things. You know, why don't you buy some land, build some stuff? It's about time we start doing. But I mean, Measure L is about fixing a lot of the stuff. You know.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well,
so
say 6% can buy some messed up desks that are at Lincoln.
yeah.
That I was told about today.
Well, so if the budget is always in a typical year 75 to 80%, I mean, so
That's for employees.
for employees, I mean, yeah, that's why they struggle to get everything. Everything else is functioning on whatever they got left. So is 8-1? Would 8-1 be fair? I mean, 7-1. Would that be fair? Well, yeah, it would be fair.
I mean, last year they got 2.2.
They got 2.2. So what's the big deal? Now, as a father, don't you want more for the kids?
No, absolutely. Every kid
Yeah,
deserves
man.
it. And
Yeah, dude, you can do so much for the kids. So I mean, I'm just hoping that from the meeting. Oh, and then this chart is what Suda had a bunch of schools, right? You got unifieds and you got high schools, you got elementaries. But this was on their chart. They were talking about money. So what I did this morning is I looked up on the California dashboard on the CASP state testing, I looked up the scores, the percentages, and I added them. So for ELA and math, I added them, and they had 12 schools or elementary, high schools in unified districts. SUDA had 12 of them listed. So what I did is I added the two testing mechanisms, the math and ELA, and then I ranked them on their numbers. So Clovis destroyed everybody, of course, and they're up there. And then you go all the way down, 1 through 12, Selma's number 10. Now, in math, we're number 10 out of these 12 schools, these 12, Ashton's trying to show everybody. So out of these 12 named, Selma's number 10 in math, and Selma's also number 10 in ELA. And we're number 10 out of the 12.
And these schools are the ones that SUDA used for their...
On their graphs, yeah, when they're talking about money. They had these 12 on the chart. So that's where I got these 12 off the dashboard. Ironically, though, off topic a little bit, I think Clovis is the only non-union one, I think. I don't know if the other ones all have unions.
Okay.
I think they probably do, but I don't know if the elementary does at Kingsburg. But regardless, if you look at it, you're talking about test scores. Hey, man, I want my kid to go to a school that, that's really thriving. Of course, Clovis is known. Kingsburg, Kings Canyon scores are good. Valor's good. And then it starts to really dip after that. Dinuba's not as okay. Central, Haffer High School, Selma, Fresno scores are really bad, and so is Parliers.
Wow.
But we're not that far from there.
No, we're right there.
Yeah. So anyway, when you talk about money, and to be honest with you, you talk about that 14%. I would never want to give 14% away, but
if you were here,
if you were there, and we're going to stay there, that's a whole different ballgame. And anyway, just wanted to bring that up, man. As fathers, that I know you're really into kids first, man. And I'm like that too. That's why we wanted to talk about it, because you're not going to win an argument with us.
It's priority.
It's priority, man. And oh, hey, then we wanted to talk about fencing at the.
Oh no, yeah, that's I always will show my gratitude to you for really being pushing the fencing at the middle school, especially with the tragic events that happened.
Oh yeah, so
here in Selma,
Mr. Bejarano was the SRO for a long time, huh?
yes.
And there had been a fight, man, for maybe like 10 years trying to get the junior high fenced off. And I was told by the SUDA president, I think in 2018, 2019, when we brought it up again, that, hey, you're the only one that wants a fence. There's not one teacher that wants a fence over there.
What about the parents?
What about the parents? What about the kids?
What about the kids?
Exactly. So, not to bring up the shooting, but if you were an SRO and there was a shooting and somebody was running towards the campus, man, what would you think if that thing wasn't fenced off?
Horrific situation for our students.
Horrific, right? You should always limit access points. Isn't that what it's about?
Absolutely.
What if Eric White wasn't fenced?
Well, if you watch the news, that's where they captured the suspect. I'm going to guesstimate, about 100 yards from the back fence of
the school.
Eric White.
So thank goodness, yeah, so you got to have fences, man. Hey, there's actually people, that union president had yelled at me about that. About, you're the only one that wants a fence. This is like 2018, 2019. See, it was on the docket to be done. And remember the recall?
Yes,
and
sir.
then right after the recall, I mean, it was within a few months, they put that on hold, man. They just put it out. They threw it off to the side for some reason. And thank God nothing ever happened. Thank God nothing ever happened. But that was one of the first items coming
It
back.
only takes one.
One time.
One time.
One time. People don't realize that, man. When you're trying to protect everybody's kids.
But thank you. Seriously.
No, thank you for being that. SRA, that's where we met. Remember? We did the walkthrough at the high school. They were using security guards in the rock class. Yeah. Remember? They were saying, oh, it doesn't happen. And there was a parent that said, hey, I'm teaching our kids in the rock class. And we were like, hey, man, even worse than that, security's in the rock class. When they're supposed to be protecting the campus, what would happen if something would have happened and they wouldn't, dude?
They were stuck in the rock.
Yeah.
With the student.
You're supposed to be protecting, dude. No, that was shameful, man. And I believe the only reason why that changed is because we started talking about it. We're going to bring it out in public. That's the only reason why it changed, in my opinion.
But, you know, I just really hope that this new board, administration, they do the right thing for our kids.
Yeah, yeah. And so you got to protect us with the money. You got to have good reserves. So the money is always a big part because the unions are always going to want the money. And you got to stand firm for the kids, right? That's why you run. Who actually runs and says I run for the union? Or I run for the adults. It doesn't happen, but when you get in there, they try to turn it into it, right? Here they come at you. Hey, this is why. Yeah, that's all fine. Be fair. 7-1. I mean, we are paid well. Hey, you know what, Caesar, man? The people that I do talk to, and I know they try to say things about me because I'm really hardcore for the kids. You know, oh, you don't care about us. No. I do.
Everybody's important in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they're priority.
They're priority, man. So I do have a lot of friends that are teachers, man. And the ones that I do know, that I talk to them, they tell me they're paid well.
No, they are. I have friends that are teachers.
Yeah, dude, they're paid well. And you're going to get a 7-1,
Yep.
and then you're asking for even more?
Well, that 7-1, 8% is really well.
It is, dude.
Over what they received last year,
Yeah.
2.2.
Oh, yeah. So one of the things that was said also was invest in us, you know, and that's how you invest in the kids. How about we invest right into the kids?
Well, this isn't investing in the kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the district has invested in the employees, right? Retraining them, tens and tens of millions of dollars in intervention. I mean, man, come on,
Well, I
dude,
remember
restructure.
that was like, what, 5 years or so?
What, the intervention?
Yes.
You mean the money? I mean, if you took the money over the decade, it's probably, I don't know, dude. Well, probably if you just do salaries, over $40 million. Gotta be.
Wow.
Because it costs. You know, in that last meeting,
And we're still number 10?
yeah, we're number 10. Yeah. So if we know that so I think it goes back to what Dr. Pickle had said at one of the board meetings about he was asked why do you think the scores are so low, and he says, well, he mentions that he thinks it's because it's been accepted. So I took that as, hey, they've been low for a long time. Everybody just is okay with it. So it wasn't until you got new people on the board and they weren't okay with it, and they said, do better. And if you're going to be asking for more money, you need to do better. You know, just because you get more money doesn't mean you're the best, because that's what you hear all the time. Salva's the best, Salva's the best. Well, I think Clovis is well known. And look at why they're well known. Look at their scores. And then somebody will say, well, scores don't matter.
Well, that's how you get accepted to university.
Right? Hey, where I work, dude, they matter. You know, you got to pass. Don't you get your driver's license? Don't you got to pass the test? I mean,
Who says they don't matter?
oh, some people say it. I'll talk about the test scores, and they'll say, oh, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. And in our lives and the way our society, test scores matter.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Anyway, dude. Hey, thanks for coming, man. I knew you would like talking about this subject because you like talking about kids first, man.
Well, you know, in closing, you know, I just wish, as a parent, as a dad, that our board, every single one of them, looks after our kids first.
Yeah.
Priority.
Yeah.
Our teachers are classified. Everybody is extremely important to moving our future forward, and
Yeah.
that's our kids' priority.
Yep. And it should be okay. It should be okay to say kids first, right?
Why wouldn't it?
Well, some people. Me and Joe did an episode where there was a couple teachers that said one of them had put it on social media, and it said you can't put kids first if you put teachers last.
Nobody's last.
Yeah.
Kids are priority.
Yeah, kids are the priority. So, in an essence, everybody could be last. If there is a first and last, then everybody's last and kids are first. Or second, whatever you want to call it. But the kids are the priority. Everybody has a job because of them.
A teacher is a public servant to our kids.
Yep.
Period.
The administration, and then our
Everyone.
representatives.
Everyone.
Yeah, and our representatives have to make sure that happens. You know, Mr. Fedor,
Oh no,
Mrs. Alanis, Mark Medina, Mrs. Kessler,
Mr. Sahota.
Mr. Sahota. Now, I know a lot of people, well, I'll leave it at that. But we expect them to put our kids first.
And honestly, until they let our community down,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, we're just doing the video because
Right.
we saw what was going on. We
Right.
know we know
I
they're
just-
making a pitch to them because it was on the video. The pitch was made.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that they stand their ground. Hey, wait a minute, 7-1 is fair. Take care of our kids.
That's really good.
Yeah,
8%
yeah, dude.
for a 1-year contract. That's really good.
And you know what? And if I remember right, watching that, Mark even says that. He says something along the lines of, "Hey, man, in the real world, you don't get 8% raises."
You don't.
Yeah. So why the heck would how could they even ask for the 6%? I think they just do that to do it. A lot of times, because they start.
You do.
Yeah, they
You
start.
start off high.
Yeah, they started off at 22.28. Not going to happen.
Wow.
That would never happen. But even 14% though, that's still real high, and shouldn't happen. But we'll see. They made that pitch, and what I didn't like was the open dialogue. There shouldn't have been a dialogue because almost like they were negotiating. That should never happen. You have a negotiating team and they bring it to you. You could tell them, hey, I'm going to make a stand at 2.2. That's what we did. Hey, we're
Right.
not budging.
Right.
Hey, you do whatever you do over there, but I ain't budging. But it's hard. You got to have guts, especially.
Well, it's not hard.
I mean,
you put kids first.
Yeah. So
And-
yeah, you're right. It's
not
the
hard.
decision. Now, if you're not used to doing that, you better get used to it fast.
Well, if you didn't run with kids being priority, then why are you running?
Why should you run? You ain't running for the unions. You're not running for the adults.
Our kids are our future. Our kids are our future.
Yeah. So that's where the priority with the money should be with the kids. Now, I don't believe in that you pay somebody and then all of a sudden the kids are going to learn more. That doesn't happen. We were at the top pay scale, I think, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. There was a newspaper article on the average pay. We were number one if you average it out. The test scores, this isn't post-COVID test scores. I mean, yes, it is. This is new. But our scores have been down for a long time. We know we couldn't get the numbers before 2014, but we know they were low. 2014, 2015, we know they were low before too. We weren't able to get them before I left.
Why couldn't you get them?
I don't know. There was a person who's mentoring that looked into it. She got it up until 2014. During one of the meetings, she explains something with the state, and we couldn't get them at that time. I don't know if you can get them now.
Oh, gotcha.
But the scores have been low for a very long time, and it goes back to what Dr. Pickles said, I believe. And I think it is true that everybody was just relaxed, right? So your principal has to be on top of the teachers.
Accountability.
Yeah, the administrators on top of him, and the board. The board has to demand results, right? And so then some people take that as a bad thing. Oh, no. They're demanding it for our kids. You want to see results. Plain and simple.
No, absolutely.
So anyway, man, hey, thanks for coming. Hey, we'll do it. Hey, as soon as the next meeting, not tonight's meeting, because I don't think there was anything that great on there. I don't know, but I think it was a kind of a soft meeting. But we'll do it again after.
No, absolutely.
When they have the next big vote,
Absolutely.
man. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to call.
Thank you, man.
All right, no,
Thank you
thanks for
having
coming,
me.
man. Thanks, Junior. Ashton.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
man. Hey, we'll see you guys next time.